What's going on, y'all? This is Dana Polk Jr., Master Executive 8, and we are continuing to learn about the science of immortality and bliss, coming from the book about implosion that I posted in the description link. I'm pretty much coming straight from the book. It's a study, you know what I'm saying? So I'm learning more about this subject, and then I'm going to be applying these principles to bring about this bliss. So, and the point here is to learn the science behind it and to pretty much like I said, understand it from a scientific point of view. So, because a lot of times I can just say stuff, you know what I'm saying? But if I have the actual science behind it, something I can prove, something that's practical and applicable, then I feel I can get a better result with what it is that I'm trying to do. So I invite you guys to join me along for that journey if this is something that interests you as well. And you can follow along in the book, or if you have any comments, anything you want to bring because this is open for discussion. You know, I'm pretty sure that there's things that I can learn. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. So this is from the second, not the second chapter of the book, but like a kind of like a second part where we're answering the question, what is self empowerment, and what is it, and what does it mean? And if you notice the word, I have it broken down, or I don't have it broken down. It was broken down into three parts: self, you, M, which I don't know exactly what it means. I haven't seen a breakdown of the acronym, but I'm assuming that it means electromagnetic. So it's self electromagnetic empowerment. So what does this mean? So it seems that knowing what self-empowerment is attaches itself to the question of how can your aura begin to steer itself like an egg with a twister inside. So tornadoes are self-aware. They've even been observed by people who study the weather to steer around us or people to prevent from destroying the people. So just like a child learns to feed themselves, once a tornado learns how to feed itself, it is now responsible. So once it gets that big, it's responsible, and it has acquired the knowledge to make the symmetrical turns required to turn inside out. Basically, because it's self-aware, it now is responsible for whatever it causes. So at that, and I'm saying it's just like a child who learns how to feed themselves. Now they are now responsible for feeding themselves. They are not a child anymore. So at the moment of learning to self-feed, it is now response-able, and it is self-aware. So the heart of hydrogen in all atoms is the result of those symmetrical turns that create a slip knot recipe, like similar to how you would tie a bow tie. So a slip knot is basically a knot that can be undone by a pull. So this also relates to the hearts that we have, as well as the heart of the sun. So what's the difference between being self-steering within and needing addiction without? The difference is implosion, or the ability to squeeze charge into ourselves, successfully creating that blissful, attractive ability. So why is there that difference between self-steering and addiction? Because it's the controlling of the direction of the sucking and pushing in a vortex or a tornado that you steer your aura in the three states. So in these three states is when you steer your aura, and that is when you're in a state of bliss, when you're in a dream state or at death. So it's similar to the way a jellyfish propels itself through the ocean. So how does a jellyfish control the sucking and the pushing in a vortex? Because this is very similar how we control the sucking and pushing of the vortex inside of ourselves to charge ourselves or to create charge within ourselves. So this is from an article that I got, and I'll post that article. So some of the ocean's most efficient swimming animals use suction to propel themselves through the water. Finds a study in Nature Communications. So rather than generating thrust by propelling water backwards, like how a fish does, like how a fish would propel itself through the water, jellyfish and lampreys are observed primary pulling themselves through the water by generating low pressure regions in the fluid surrounding their bodies. So a central principle of all animal locomotion on land, in the air, or in water is the forward propulsion generated by pushing back on the surrounding contact surface. So in swimming animals, this propulsive thrust is generated by movements that create high pressure regions in the fluid against which the body can push. So John Dabiri and his colleagues, they studied the movements of two freely swimming lampreys and two whose swimming efficiently was reduced, and a single jellyfish as they moved through tunnels where the water has been seeded with small 10 microns in size glass beads to allow the motion of the surrounding fluid to be accurately traced. So calculating the relative contributions of different regions of fluid pressure to forward and backwards motions, they find the low pressure regions dominate the balance of forces in the fluid immediately surrounding the animal's body. These low pressure regions are generated by coordinated undulations of the body, which create vortices that propagate down the length of the animal's body, generating forward pull and effectively sucking them through the water. So it's almost like, if you can picture this being a jellyfish, it's like compression and like suction that like pulls them forward. Right, so jellyfish and lampreys have some of the lowest energetic swimming costs of any animal, meaning it doesn't take much for them to move through the water. So the amount of energy that they use to move is low, meaning they're just very efficient swimmers. And it is hoped that their shared solution for efficient swimming could be used to help design future underwater vehicles. So basically, our technology is being designed off of nature as usual. Pretty much everything that we have, even down to the internet, is based off of something nature already has perfected. So we become the principle of creation when we become self-steering, and we self-steer when we learn how to make our own vortex tornadoes of charge, attracting into heart. So what does learning how to steer all your own vortex tornadoes of charge end? Like, what does that cause the end of at the same time as you learning how to do that? Because basically as you learn this new thing, there's going to be the death of something else. It's basically that cycle of death and rebirth. So it ends the need to be steered by something outside of yourself. So this is the whole idea of us having a God or something outside of ourselves to tell us what to do, pretty much, or to steer us. And it ends the belief that you cannot steer. Some of us even have beliefs that we are not in control of our lives. Now, of course, we have things that are not in our control, but there are many things that are in our control that we think that we don't have control of. So it also ends the need for parasites or addictions. Parasites just meaning like literally probably parasites inside of us, but also just things that either leech onto us or things that we leech onto. So it ends the need to like maybe have people always dependent on you, you know, giving you, I guess, maybe some sort of ego boost, or to have an addiction or an outside addiction to something. All right, so this is part 1. We will do part 2 tomorrow and finish up this section and move on to chapter 2. So for now, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you guys can follow along if you want. But I'm going to be on this journey pretty much until I'm out of here and really understand this science and begin this process of bliss in a scientific way. And I feel that this is really useful for understanding from a scientific perspective what's going on when we say the things that we say in you know, in our everyday lives. And honestly, is this necessary? Honestly, I feel like it's not necessary for everybody to go this deep, because I feel like a lot of us have unknowingly attained the application of this information in our lives without having to go this deep or understand the science necessarily. But then you have people like myself. I like to know, like, kind of like what's going on, you know, on a scientific level. So if you're one of those types, then this is definitely going to be beneficial for you. I would suggest you just pick up the book, you know what I'm saying, go through it on your own leisure. But if you want to kind of go through it with me, you can do that too. All right, guys. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Hit the bell notification so you can be updated when I do the next video. All right, bye.